Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board to order at 3 p.m.
Dr. Luna Najera.
Here.
Mr. Del Palacio.
Here.
Mr. Ortega Romero. Mr. Chapman.
Here.
And Ms. Sun.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance Member Chapman, if you could do the last announcement, please.
The Tolleson Union High School District serves 14,000 students with 15 indigenous communities represented through our 7 high schools. The Tolleson Union High School District Governing Board would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Acapulco Oda and Peaposh peoples, and pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. We recognize their enduring connection to this land, their rich culture and language, and the invaluable contributions they have made and continue to make in our community. As we gather today for the Tolleson High School District Governing Board meeting, let's remember the significance of these lands and honor the legacy of the original stewards of this territory.
Thank you, Member Chapman. And now to the approval of the regular agenda. Can I have a motion? Second. Roll call.
Dr. Luna Najera.
No.
Mr. Del Palacio.
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero.
Yes.
Mr. Chapman.
Yes.
And Ms. Sun.
Yes. And now to the summary of our current events. Superintendent, guys, please take it away.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board. After the successful completion of our graduations, we launched a new page on our district website for all graduation-related content. If you visit www.tuhsd.org/graduation, you will see programs, archived live stream videos, and photos from each graduation. This site will be updated each year with new graduation information. It will serve as a great way for our parents, students, and alumni to look back on these milestone moments. 42 of our students were selected to attend Civics Matters Arizona, making it one of the largest, if not the largest, group of students from a single school district to attend. Highlights of the trip included visiting historical sites, monument tours, a group debate on controversial topics, a dinner cruise, and flying on the Arizona Cardinals plane. Our teaching staff were amazing, and some students reported that the trip helped them gain self-confidence. West Point Girls Volleyball held a very successful Dragon Volleyball Camp earlier this month. The first-time event invited young athletes to work with our high school students. The students became the coaches, and they taught the kids different strategies, techniques, and how to play the game. We'd love to see those campers join the team when they become high schoolers at West Point, so congratulations out to West Point. And summer camp sessions are thriving right now at our schools. Students can participate in a variety of activities like fitness, esports, robotics, reading, and crafting for free at summer camp. Pictured here is a lesson in Native American culture and art. Students were led by Dion Mitchell at West Point High School. And that's just some of the good news that's happened since our last governing board meeting.
Thank you, Superintendent Gaius. And now for the board members update, if there's any, starting with Member Luna Najera.
Have any updates?
Member Del Blasio.
No updates, thank you.
Member Romero Ortega.
Not right now, thank you.
Member Chapman. And I just want to take a moment to, thank all the district staffs, teachers, personnel across on-site for your amazing work for some of the members here on the board, we've only been here for 6 months, and we are very impressed with the output of work that you guys have done, and the commitment that you guys hold, the values that you hold for this district, the culture that you have established, the students and the teachers working in collaboration, and seeing that needle literally moving in such a short period of time is astonishing. So I personally, on behalf of the board, thank you all for that, and hopefully you guys are enjoying your summer and having some R&R. If not, let us know, and we'll work that out. Anyway, so now we will be moving to the public participation. Let's see. Lupita, do you have received any requests to address the board? Okay, we have 2, so we will be able to do the full 3 minutes. But before we proceed, just want to read the public participation guideline. All regular and special meetings of the board shall be open to the public. The board invites the viewpoints of citizens throughout the district and considers the responsible presentation of these viewpoints vital to the efficient operation of the district. The board also recognizes its responsibility for the proper governance of the schools, and therefore the need to conduct its business in an orderly, fashion, efficient manner. Any individual desiring to address the board shall complete a form request to address board and give this form to the governing board executive assistant Lupita Goodman prior to the start of the board meeting. No one may approach the dais to speak with board members, the superintendent, or the administrative assistant without the board president's permission, whether before, during, after, or intermittently in the meeting. Anyone who wishes to speak with those on the dais must first obtain approval from the board president. This is the time for the public to comment. Governing board members are not permitted to discuss or take legal action on matters raised during the open call to the public unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion and legal action. However, the law permits governing board members to do the following at the conclusion of the open call to the public. A, respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the governing board. B, ask staff to review a matter. Or C, ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. In order to facilitate accomplishing the business of the district in a timely manner, a time limit of 3 minutes will be imposed for each individual or group addressing the board. When you approach the podium, please state your name for the record. And our very first
point of order. Point of order,
Luna
President
Nahara.
Sun. Nowhere in our policy does it state that the community, whether they be reporters, whether they be constituents, have to get your permission to approach the dais. I think that's an overreach on your end to expect people to come and get your permission to approach the dais. There are 5 elected officials up here, and if I want to allow somebody to come and speak to me, I should be able to do that without having to go to get your permission. Your job is to run the meeting, not to grant the community an infringement on their First Amendment rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Luna Nahara. These are procedural that we can put in place. And with that, just a little clarification. As board members, we are allowed to approach the audience. What we're asking is to have that clear line of, courtesy, and that we will go to you and to address any matter. But as far as approaching the dais, for safety and security purposes, at this time we will not allow that.
Well, for my community who is interested in speaking to me, I am available, and you may approach me, and I will walk off the dais or the stage if needed to have those difficult conversations with you, because I am open to communication.
Conversation is supposed to be had outside of the dais, formality, and into the audience or separately, so that is not being taken away. Free speech is still in place. And now to our first speaker that welcome to the dais is Kim Owens.
President Stein, members of the board, Superintendent Caius, As a public school, you are obligated to follow Title 15. ARS 15905, school district budgets require you to publish notice of a public hearing prior to the adoption of a budget. Doing an extensive search of the public records, I can find no publication of today's budget hearing. It's not on the ADA website, but yet you intend to pass the budget today. This is the first time it's been brought up. It also requires that there be a public hearing attached with today's meeting. There is no public hearing on the agenda. The public has a right to question every single line of that agenda if they want to, and they do not need your permission to do so. So if you publish, please provide evidence. If you haven't, you're in violation of the law and you cannot proceed with passing a budget today. If you intend to pass the budget today, I expect that you are going to have to go into executive session, get advice from your attorney, because if you continue to act knowing that you're in violation of the law, you lose all indemnification. The actions of this board have been open and notorious. You're under investigation by the Joint Legislative Audit Committee already. I would suggest that you prove that you followed Title 15 before you proceed on today's budget. Thank you. Do you have evidence of your publication? Superintendent Kais, you're allowed to speak. It's on the agenda. You can speak to it. Do you have evidence of your publication?
Thank you, Kim. Our next speaker will be Susie Moreno.
Point of order. We need to treat the public with respect. It is Ms. Owens.
This will be responded to on the agendized item when I begin to present the item. We don't respond within the request to speak from the public. So when we get to the agendized item, that's when there will be a response.
So are you confirming that you have published the public notice? And then what will you do about the missing item on the agenda?
When we do public comments, we don't respond, so if you could please have a seat and we will get to that. If you can give it to us and we can answer that to you at a later time.
You do have
And
the
some of
right
that
by
questions
law,
that
you do have the right by law to respond to certain
We are in the middle of
things.
public participation, so please proceed and have a seat so we can have the other person to come
So
up
are
and
you
speak.
declining to respond to my
And
request?
that we will be responding later on, because at this time, we will not be able to respond as we've made the statement with the public participation. Most of the questions you have are agendized, so we have to wait until we reach that item to have the discussion. So
I'm
if
going
you
to
could have
respectfully
a seat-
disagree with you on the
if you
open
could
meeting
have
law.
a
That is
seat-
not what you must do, but you're choosing to not answer. Is that correct? You're
We
choosing to
cannot
not
answer any
answer.
question that's been agendized.
You're
Of all
choosing not
people,
to
you
answer.
being a
Thank
former
you.
board member, you should know better. Have a seat. The next speaker will be Susie Moreno.
Good afternoon. My name is Susie Moreno. I'm a Tolleson native, and I'll be speaking today on behalf of the Citizens for Schools Accountability. Citizens for Schools Accountability, which you'll hear me refer to as CSA, is a newly established nonprofit organization focused on advocating for students, teachers in the Tolleson Union High School District. The CSA organization is made up of public servants with long careers in the public sector, which includes former teachers, principals, school administrators, stakeholders, community leaders, and elected officials at the city and state level, all supporters of public education. The CSA mission is to ensure accountability from the Tolleson Union High School Board and the superintendent. CSA has specific demands. They are calling for the Tolleson Union High School Board to prioritize the interests of students, teachers, and public education. This includes improved management, transparency, financial responsibility, focus on education, and inclusion. Full participation of Tolleson residents in the Tolleson Union High School Board meetings. The school board and the superintendent have not acted in the best interest of students' parents, the taxpayer community, or the Tolleson Union High School District. As a result of actions taken by the school board, CSA will not support the bond or M&O override in November and will work tirelessly to defeat it. We also seek to replace members of the existing school board. School boards are elected to represent the concerns of students, citizens, taxpayers, and parents. This school board has failed and is dysfunctional, divided, and in conflict with each other. This dysfunction impacts the participation of the community and addressing our concerns. Some community members are even being denied their First Amendment rights. CSA will work to remove school board members from their office before their term is completed and take actions to replace this board. CSA is demanding your resignation. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie, for your comments. And now we will move to the information discussion items, tutor buses for the early start school. Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, during our board retreat, we discussed tutor buses and the possibility for expanding our tutor bus offerings, particularly for our early start schools, and even identified some strategies that we were going to look into to make that happen. And we've brought this matter to the board for further discussion and board input as we continue down that route.
Thank you, Superintendent Guys. And for board members, for those that were at the board retreat, the issue at hand was that certain campuses do have tutoring, they have teachers, but they don't have the students there to stay after and utilize that services because of transportation needs. And one of the discussions and problems resolving this is potentially creating a training program among the established staffs that are in place. We can go into details of what those look like. The only thing is that window is such a short period of time. We're looking at maybe possibly even as minimal as just 1 hour. And we cannot hire someone just for that small space. We had to be careful with budgeting and hiring and staffing. So the need is there, but to expand that, that's going to be the challenge. And if any of you guys out there have some suggestions or ideas, that would be great. If this is to be implemented, this will open up more possibilities for students to stay after and to utilize and benefit tutoring, as we all know, will result in student outcome. Member, any additional comments, questions, concerns? Let's start with Member Ortega Romero online. Do you have any questions regarding this matter?
No comment.
Any fellow board members, any comments, questions? So Superintendent Guys, I do have a question. As far as the budget and having that window of 1 hour potential need, what is the stick in the mud that's preventing us moving forward with this?
So, Madam President, the main obstacle that we have to overcome is that our drivers for the early start schools, during the time that they would normally double back to run a tutor bus, are dropping off students from the late start schools. Our routes are pretty well balanced, so we have just as many drivers out for early start as we do for late start, which means that during that time that they're dropping off the late start students, all of our drivers are pretty much out. So what we are looking at right now is other employees who could be trained to drive a bus or other methods for transporting students home, so that way we can be able to offer that additional tutor bus that is only 1 hour after the early start schools, and instead of right now they're limited to just 2 hours after, because that's how long it takes for a bus driver to finish a late route school and then double back to pick up students to do the tutor bus. So we have a couple of our directors who are currently working on this item and talking with their staff to see if they would have interest in picking up a CDL so they could be able to provide that additional assistance.
I know that one of the concerns was brought up by the La Jolla campus, and roughly off the bat, an estimate of what number are we looking at additionally for those additional tutoring, transportation drivers, basically?
In order to ensure that we could run early the 1 hour routes on tutor buses at all the early start schools, we're probably needing to pick up about 15 to 20 staff members who would be willing to add on a CDL and be a driver for that 1 hour that we need them to go to the school and take students home. So about 15 to 20 is the target.
Okay, is it per campus?
No, total.
Okay, so 15, so among potentially internal additional training. And how long will be the training? How long will it take for them to be trained?
I don't know if I see our director of transportation, I think he's off today.
I heard it was
I
12
think the
weeks.
training takes a couple of weeks, like 2 to 3 weeks we do. They have to get some behind the wheel hours. They also have to get their CDL. And even if we line up 15 to 20 who are willing to do it, not everyone goes through the whole process and makes it out on the other end. So we'd probably shoot for a higher number, knowing that some of them would not actually finish the process and finish qualifying and getting certified with all their hours.
And we're not really talking about the big yellow bus. It could also be those little white vans or what?
We are looking into that possibility of other means of transporting home, so it could be an activity bus, but right now our team is still investigating that, so we don't have an answer for you yet on that.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent guys, and stay tuned on this matter, and we'll bring us any updates in the coming meetings.
A question.
Yes, Member Luna Nahara.
Is there anybody from transportation here?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Is there anybody from transportation here?
No, we don't see anybody. It will be Bert. But like I said, this is just a discussion.
Correct, but if we have questions, it would be best served that transportation be the ones to answer the questions. It's disappointing to have a presentation brought forward or a conversation brought forward when we don't have all the stakeholders present, and they're going to later bring more information to us. So I have questions around equity and how much it's going to cost for us to be able to extend this service to our McKinney-Vento students, to our foster care students. I don't believe that we have fully processed this, and this discussion is incomplete. I'm not walking away with the information that I need.
Discussion in a further meeting. This is just to introduce and to give an idea, because this came out during our board retreat that you were not present, and we went extensively, and this is what we were able to capture from the retreat. So we were just starting here as a starting point, and then moving forward, we'll be able to elaborate and, of course, to address equity. That is definitely an issue. And remember, the focus is for those students that want to stay after for tutoring, and they're not able to because we don't have the transportation. So there is a need, so we need to create and solve that need, and that's where we're at. We can't really have the problem solved today, but Bert, you will join us in our next meeting. We'll have it more of a formality, and if you have any questions or concerns, of course, we'll bring that to the next session.
I don't
That's it.
need to. I don't
Superintendent
need to.
guys.
Yes, Madam President, in regards to McKinney-Vento students, they do not travel home on a yellow bus or an activity bus. We have vans, we have McKinney-Vento drivers. We are able to provide this service for our McKinney-Vento students, and we do have people in the audience who do represent that population. We have both Angie's available as well as Rosalva to discuss in detail anything about McKinney-Vento students if the concern is McKinney-Vento students.
I said cost. You missed that part.
So
And President Sun, I don't have to inform you whether I can be here for a retreat or not. I'm an elected official and a state legislator. You should know our schedules are very busy and hectic, and unfortunately, I can't spend a whole day with you guys all the time.
Member Dr. Luna, we are not concerned about your presence or absence.
You literally just mentioned it.
The fact that you were not there, you have understood this discussion, and that we will continue to have this discussion, whether fellow board members are not approve or not. This is just a beginning step, but any questions of fellow members that have, please direct them to Superintendent Guys, and maybe we can make it more robust when we bring this subject matter again. And as far as the cost, I think Superintendent Guys, you've had any add to the cost?
Yes, Madam President, the cost is going to be purely driven based on who the employees are. So if we're looking at full-time employees who are the ones who move into this role of taking on an extra hour a day in order to drive these routes, then we have to calculate out blended overtime based on that employee's current rate and what their rate is for driving the bus. So that's going to be completely dictated based on the actual employees. When we bring it forward for a formal presentation, then at that point, we can have the range included, and if we have some of the employees identified, then we can get more specific with the employees that are actually driving, what their blended overtime looks like, and multiply that out. But you're talking about 1 hour a day for 180 days, and it's really not the full 180 because we don't run tutor buses every single day. And yes, it's probably going to be a rate around $25, $30 an hour if it's a higher end employee who would bring the blended overtime rate higher than the placement on a bus driver.
So Superintendent, guys, I can expect that in our next meeting, there will be a little bit more of a formal presentation, information addressing the concerns that we're addressing today, equity, costs, accessibilities, questions from our transportation directly. I have faith from our district staffs that this will be well put in place and have our heads wrapped around it. For me, the issue is the cost to cover that 1 hour. We cannot hire someone for that 1 hour, unfortunately, and it's just not feasible. It's not legal, so we want to make sure that it's cost effective and we're not wasting our fund for just hiring 1 hour. This way we have in-house opportunities as well as addressing this dire need. And if we can get this going before the school starts, the better. Okay, thank you everyone. And now we will move to the next item, and that will be approval of the consent agenda. I'd like to motion. Can I have a second?
I'd like to motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented with the exception of F8, walkthrough detention systems.
Okay, Member Luna Nahara, there's a motion on the table. Do I have a second? Okay, motion failed. If I could get a roll call, please. My apologies. I motion that the governing board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Nahara?
We spent $1 million on AI, and you're now coming to us asking for more money without trying to have a discussion on what these detection
So we don't
systems are
know
going to do.
explanations of our votes. We're just going to.
Nobody wants
make
to
our
have these
votes, and
discussions,
we do
President
not
Sun.
have this. No, there is no discussion.
How hard
There
is
is no
it to
discussion
have
because
this
that's not
discussion?
in our policy and it's not in our place. We were going to follow with policy. If she wants to make a comment regarding this matter, it should have done before roll call. Roll call. We're in roll call. Roll call has no explanation. Please, state your vote.
Because of lack of transparency, I'm a no.
Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. And now we move to the discussion action item. Previously removed from the consent agenda if needed, if not continued, and now we'll move to item G, action discussion item, discussion consideration to approve the fiscal year 2025-2026 proposed budget. Superintendent Guys, please take it away.
Yes, Madam President, and before going into the proposed budget, I would like to acknowledge and recognize Ms. Joyce Council, who on the consent agenda has moved into our role of Chief Financial Officer. So, for the presentation of our proposed budget, I'll first begin with the statute, although that wasn't in my slides, since it's become a point of contention. I'll explain it. I would expect all current board members and former board members to be familiar with the process that's been in place now for over 30 years. Districts are required to propose their budget by July 5th. At the time that they propose their budget, they are then required to post a hearing notice that gives 10 days notice to when they will be having a public hearing and doing an adoption of the budget. Tonight, we are proposing a budget. We cannot do a hearing notice without a proposed budget. We will come back on July 8th for an adoption of the budget. The meeting that has the adoption of the budget will start with a public hearing. That is the process that all districts have had to follow for over 30 years now. And so I would expect, again, that all of our board members, and I would have expected the former board members to be familiar with that because that has always been the process for 30 years now. So we'll have that public hearing, we'll have the adoption at the next meeting. Tonight we just have the proposal of the budget. Delphino, I want to see slides popping up. All right, so I think we're still having technical difficulty getting up there, but I'll read from here. Start first with some legislative updates. So right now the Senate has passed their budget. We are working off of draft forms until the legislature can approve a budget, and then we'll have final and official forms. But the Senate has passed a budget that they negotiated with the governor's office. Within that budget, there is a 2% increase for inflation. The aggregate expenditure limit is overridden for 2 years, and district additional assistance is continued. There you go. Go ahead, go to the 2 more slides there. One more. Right there. All right, so district additional assistance is continued, and Prop 123 is continued. So that's right now contained in the Senate's budget, but again, they have not approved an official budget. The budget needs to be done by June 30th. So we have less than a week left for an official budget, and that's currently what's on the table from the Senate. The House is making a second attempt at a budget, and neither one of their attempts at the budget agree with the Senate's budget. So there's still work to do downtown before they have a budget. That being said, including that 2% increase for inflation, our general budget limit, so next slide, for the upcoming year is just over 182 million, and our capital budget limit is just over 13 million. With that, I can entertain any questions, and again, this will come back to you as a public hearing and a budget adoption on the July 8th meeting. Between proposed and adopted, a district is not allowed to increase their budget. They are allowed to decrease, but you're not allowed to increase your budget. Between the proposed budget and the adoption budget, all of this is detailed very well in 15905.
Thank you, Superintendent Dias. And now for comments, questions from fellow board members. Member Luna O'Hara, do you have any questions?
No.
Devin Del Blasio. Romero Ortega.
Not right now, thank you.
Chapman.
Yeah, thank you. Just real quick, Superintendent Guy, where will we post that notice for the public hearing?
So the notice for the public hearing is posted on ADE's website. On our website, under our budget page, there is a link that points to ADE's website. So that's been in place not as long as the other components of 15905. We used to have to put this into a newspaper. So for those who were maybe board members over 10 years ago, it used to be into a newspaper, but they moved and made everything more electronic so we don't have to use up as much paper. So the link, the file itself will be on ADE's website. We have a link on our page that points to ADE's website. People are also always welcome to go to ADE's website. So this file will be uploaded more than likely tomorrow and available on ADE's website along with the call for the public hearing.
Thank you. And then the proposed budget is on our board docs today, and it'll be on the board docs for that public hearing for anybody to review, go
resting place of the budget files is the Department of Education, and we're supposed to point everybody to the Department of Education. The county pulls their file directly from the Department of Education, so we upload the file to them, and it'll be on their website, but yes, they can pull it off Word docs now.
Thank you.
And then with the MMO, it says 182 million for this coming fiscal year. Is this lower or higher from the previous fiscal year?
It's comparable to the previous fiscal year, so there's not a significant change in there. There's some pieces of the budget that first that we're not sure on because we're waiting for confirmation from downtown. But the other piece that makes it comparable is the fact that the budget amounts carried forward that went into this budget is lower than the previous year because we have shifted things around by moving it towards Civic Center with what we did with the Isaac deal.
And with this current format, because when we looked at the proposal and the layout, the way it's, we had to input the information is different from the previous years. Could you give us a little bit of detail on where the statute want us to now implement these numbers and how that input, there is confusion on the numbers where we will not be able to reconcile?
Yes, so every year the Auditor General's Office, under advice from JLAC, and is able to make changes to the forms. So they make changes to the forms every year. Some of the major changes this year are that now they want you to project out your carry forward, as opposed to the way it's been for the longest time is carry forwards are embedded into the different budget components. And so, especially in a transition year like this, when now the carry forward is being pulled out of the individual budget lines and placed into a single line item, when you do cell-to-cell comparisons, it throws off all the cell-to-cell comparisons for 1 year. Additionally, they added a new page where they've been wanting more detail and breakdown, asking for multi-year plans. But they're leaving off key components when they're trying to put together those multi-year plans, and so the numbers don't reconcile with the way they're presenting. They're asking for expenditures, but not asking for revenues, and so you can't get to a bottom line because of the fact that the form is just done wrong.
And unfortunately, the concern that our fellow board members and myself will have with this is that they give us a form that we are forced to comply. And yet they can extrapolate numbers that can create a story that could be very confusing. The reality that we are in currently is that we are not all knowledgeable of budget. I understand that. I think, the common, citizen of our great state probably can't make heads and tail. Being a former legislature, dealing with the state capital budget is a little easier for me to comprehend the school budget. It is complicated. And we have board members that have sat here not understanding the scope of the budget. It takes time to digest, and I applaud those that can go into this budget and look at every line item and see for what it is. But we will keep you abreast of any updates and questions that you have. Please bring them forward via email, whatever, and we will answer them as best we can. But as far as the meetings, we need to keep it with the timeline that is being presented, agendized. Otherwise, we won't be able to, address all these concerns. Just one last question, Superintendent, guys. If we were to comply with the guidelines, have we shared our concerns with ADE about this new format, where it's going to throw the cell numbers off?
No, at this time, ADE hasn't opened up any avenue for dialogue with school districts on their changes to the forms. These are draft forms. Between when the budget is officially passed and when they release the final forms, they may open up for feedback at that point in time. Right now, they just got out draft forms knowing that the legislature was not going to finish in a time that would be realistic for everybody to go out and adopt the budget. So it's a draft form right now. By the time we do our revision in December, they will have final forms. They may or may not open up for comment between the draft and the final forms.
All right, Superintendent, thank you for your comments and answers. Okay, yep. I'd like to motion for the approval for the fiscal year 2025-26 proposed budget. May I have a second? Roll call?
Dr. Luna Najera,
No.
Mr. Del Palacio,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero,
Yes.
Mr. Chapman,
Yes.
and Ms. Sun.
Yes. And now we'll move to G2, discussion consideration of the award of one GPA contract number 23-15PV-14 to Wilming Construction for the courtyard modification project at Sierra Linda High School. Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, it's recommended that the district approve the courtyard modification at Sierra Linda. We have our Director of Facilities, Mr. Gabriel Martinez, available to answer any questions.
Members, any questions, comments? Who's here to answer questions?
Our Director of Facilities, Mr. Gabriel Martinez.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gabe. Can you come to the podium? I just have a quick question about the timeline. Hi, Dave. Just a quick question. The timeline of this project, I know it's $2 million. Is there a phase, or is it just going to be done within a given timeline?
Madam President, right now it's probably going to be a phased project. Currently, right now, what we're trying to do is put in all the infrastructure, try to take advantage that the students that are not there, install as much turf grass as we can. There will be a lot of concrete work that we're going to be doing, but I would say it's going to be a phased project.
And what's the deadline?
I'm sorry, what is the deadline? We're hoping probably to be done probably by the end of December.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Gabe.
You're welcome.
I'd like to make a motion to award the one GPA contract number 23-15PV-14 to Wilming Construction for the courtyard modification project at Sierra Linda High School. Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera,
Yes.
Mr. Del Palacio,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero,
Yes.
Mr. Chapman,
Yes.
and Ms. Sun.
Yes. And now the discussion consideration to release the report of the third-party investigation into the SRO Tolleson High School incident. Superintendent Gaius?
Yes, Madam President, at our last meeting, we presented, the investigator was here to present the findings on the investigation to the SRO incident that was taking place over at the Tolleson campus. That investigative report, the board expressed interest in releasing publicly. And so this item would allow you to do so by making a vote to release that report publicly.
Superintendent, if you could give us a little background with the summary and the finding, and then what has been shared in the public and the discrepancies of the two.
Yes, Madam President, as a recap, back in late September, we had an incident where two students, a male student and a female student, had returned from a suspension. They were being given a no contact letter. The male student was walking up to the front office. When they were leaving the front office, there was nobody in the discipline office, so they came out, they were walking right back out, and as they were leaving, while their head was down, looking at their cell phone, they were struck by the officer who happened to be escorting the female student up and saw the student come out of the door, and the officer struck the student, ended up kneeing the student, and took the student to the ground, and with assistance from another officer at that point, cuffed the student. And so that's in the report, and that was discussed in detail at the last meeting, and it has more details there within the investigative report.
Thank you, Superintendent Guys. The safety of our students, as well as all our personnel, is our utmost, concern. These situations should never even happen. It's unfortunate, but granted, we will take every measure to secure and provide the best learning, safe environment for all of our students. Moving forward, incident like this won't happen if we have, cooperation and, sound leadership within the municipality that our students and their families live in. And this is a very unfortunate situation, but I want to address and give you guys the magnitude, the extent that we are willing to take to protect the well-being of our students. So with that said, I'd like to motion.
You should open it up for discussion.
Yes, Luna Nahara.
So I don't have questions about this, the report being released. My observation is pertaining to the investigator that was hired by the district. I sit here in the front and I can kind of gauge the audience, and she seemed overly involved in our politics, clapping and cheering at times. If she's a neutral person that has been hired to do a job, which is literally to put this report together, not have an opinion on our politics, then she should remain neutral and should not have been cheering and clapping as speakers were coming up to address the board. So that's a little bit disconcerting to me on whether this report can be trusted or not.
Member Luna Nahara, I don't know who you're talking about.
The investigator presented her findings at the last 2 meetings ago, and she was overly involved in our politics, is my observation.
There's no evidence of her involvement in politics. If you want to talk about involvement in politics, look around. I believe that will be, much greater elsewhere. But as far as your anecdotal comment, if you have receipt, that would be great. Otherwise, is unfounded allegations.
I am allowed to have an opinion, and that is my opinion. That she was not neutral, that she was overly involved.
As far as overly involved, we need receipt and showing that as an evidence. You are welcome to make your comment as well as I. So my comment to you is that it's unfounded. Any other comments? If not, we will now, I will motion that to release the report of the third-party investigation into the SRO Tolleson High School incident. Can I have a second? Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Nahara,
Yes.
Mr. Del Palacio,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero,
Yes.
Mr. Chapman,
Yes.
and Ms. Sun.
Yes. And now to item G4, discussion consideration to implement policy BGF, suspension, repeal policy by suspension, policy BGB, policy adoption. Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, this item is needed for the subsequent item in order to have the subsequent item take effect immediately.
Members, any questions, comments?
Yeah, what is the purpose of removing this policy that has been a long-standing policy?
I believe the longstanding is less than a year, but with that said, your question is why is it being removed? Because we have policy BGB, which is the adoption of the consent agenda, and policy BGC that's already in place that addresses the revision and the review of the consent agenda. Therefore, this portion of the policy is removed.
I will hold my comments for the next item, since we're not supposed to be commenting on that yet.
That's right.
But you were.
Agreed. I motion that to implement policy BGF, suspension repeal of policy by suspension policy BGB, policy adoption. May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera,
No.
Mr. Del Palacio,
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero,
Yes.
Mr. Chapman,
Yes.
and Ms. Sun.
Yes. Roll call, please. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Now to discussions, number 6, this consideration to adopt resolution in support of the.
Point of order?
I'm sorry. Number 5, discussion consideration to adopt governing board policy BEDBA, agenda preparation and dissemination. Superintendent Guidance.
Yes, Madam President, this would remove one of the sentences within our current policy. In checking with legal, along with researching other school districts, we have an entire section in our policy that is not contained in a lot of the surrounding school districts. And this is taking out one of those sentences within that section. And this is not required by statute, so this is completely up to the board's purview.
I have some questions.
Yes, Member Luna.
Whose idea was it to bring this policy forward? Yeah, go ahead. Admit whoever's trying to censor me. Go on.
So when we reviewed the policy that was
Who's
given
we? Please be more specific.
by the majority of the board.
So you guys are having conversations outside of public meetings?
No, we are currently in discussion. So
When are
we
you
in
having these
discussion.
conversations? When is the majority having these
Well,
conversations?
the we, so I have my VP and then Superintendent Gaius. So when we
It
looked at
sounds like
policy.
open meeting violations.
Gosh, open meeting law violation is only when there's more than 2.
You said the majority.
I know.
You
That's
said the
here.
majority. That's not the majority.
We are right here. So when we discussed this with the policy with ASPA, okay, and we looked at other policies, and we don't have this portion. And now when we spoke with Superintendent, and when we looked at the policy, and when we spoke about it, we agreed to have it removed. So now we have it on the agenda.
So do you know what I find extremely disappointing and disgusting? 2 meetings ago, you sat here and lectured me that if I wanted anything pulled off of the agenda, consent agenda, that I needed to use policy or just ask and make a motion. There are witnesses here, it's on YouTube, where you told me that all I had to do was ask. And so tonight, let me finish, let me finish. So let me finish, I am reclaiming my time. I'm reclaiming my time.
You can ask.
I am reclaiming my
If you have
time.
asked,
Let me
it's
finish.
on in the meeting.
No, you need to let me finish.
And then you have to let us finish.
You need to let me
I already
finish.
have to finish. You are finished.
No, I'm not.
You are finished.
No.
You are finished.
Listen to what you're doing, okay? So you
We
sit here and you
As
tell
the
me,
board president,
you
are
sit here
finished
and you tell me that all I have to do is
All you
ask
have
tonight
to do
at this meeting, I attempted to remove item F8 from the consent agenda. I attempted to remove it the way you requested. And what happened? It got shut down. Nobody wants to have a conversation. So now you're implementing a policy that was available for me to use, where I could notify the superintendent 24 hours prior to the meeting to have something removed from the consent agenda so that we can have a conversation. You and all of this board are complicit in censoring me and bullying me, and you need to take responsibility for that.
That's right. Okay, so she finished talking, so I would like to be given the same courtesy to finish the response that she just made. Before this policy was changed, she was allowed, and we let her. In the last meeting, I took the courtesy to pull it for her, even out of courtesy. We pulled it, and it's on camera, so it's on video, so please do not interrupt, and that's a fact. So if you look back, I pulled it, those two items that I don't want to discuss on it, but because she asked, I pulled it for her, and we had that discussion. Now, this policy allowed her to do that, but the policy now needs to be removed because it is not in line with the ASA or other districts that have their policy.
When have we ever shared
Please
with
not interrupt, please let me finish, and then you can have a comment.
When
Let
have
me
we ever shared
finish.
with
I'll
other
let me
districts?
finish, and you can have a comment. So now that this is removed, she doesn't like it because now she won't be able to do what she did before, to ask for it to be removed. Now, open meeting laws need us to speak with just one other board member. If we do more than one, that's an open meeting law. Hypothetically speaking, she pulls it out behind 24 hours, behind the dais, behind the meeting, public meeting, and then being the board president, I will be allowed to have access to her request about pulling out two items. Now, you have BP, and they have, a certain, accessibility as well. That violates open meeting law. That's why ASA highly recommend us not to have this in place. That's why it's being removed. Now, that doesn't mean that she cannot be able to pull. Like today, earlier this meeting, she asked to pull, and I'm like, go for it. Any member, go for it.
And did you-
But you have to have a second, because hypothetically speaking, you have 5 board members that want to pull agenda, left and right, all day long, delaying all the meetings. It's not going to be feasible. We need to have these meetings be done in a very methodical, organized way, but without silencing lack of understanding. So those are the proper explanations, and those are the truth, and we are trying to comply with all open meeting laws, because if we were to have this in place, we are in violations of open meeting laws, especially when she's pulling consent agenda behind the scenes with the superintendent outside of the leadership. There's 2 of us, a president and a vice president. Vice president. So when you have the third coming in, that's a violation. That's why ASPA, as well as other districts, will not have this in their policy. Why that was in there, that was less than a year ago. But prior to that, it did not exist for over years and years and years. That was only been in place, and you can track that in our previous archives. And those are all the facts. Things can be spent. We are allowed to have an opinion. We all do, including myself and everyone else. But you guys need to understand the rules and policies so that we can keep these meetings run smoothly. You guys can say all you want, but you guys still need to hear the truth. Now, moving forward, any members, lying can be proven. You need evidence. Evidence are shown here today that everything that has been said is the truth, okay? And sometimes the truth is hard to hear, and sometimes it feels like it's not in your favor. But as far as open meeting laws, we are responsible to hold that in place and in check. So any member can pull anything from the consent agenda. They are welcome
They could
to.
try.
And if they can motion it in the public meeting, but they cannot do it behind the scenes, they cannot go behind the doors. That will be outside of your view. Like if someone is myself polling, you guys don't know what's going on, that's not fair. We do
Point
it
of
here.
order.
So once we have public meetings here and you guys want to pull an item, just have a motion, it's, on the table and you get a second, okay? And that's how we're gonna move forward, and that's how we're gonna proceed. So, we will now move on. And
Gaslighting
we will
101,
move
people.
on.
Gaslighting 101.
Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, while we're on the discussion of open meeting law also requires that if you are going to call for an executive session for legal advice, there should be an attorney present, as there wasn't back in October. If you're going to suspend personnel and assign them to home, they have to receive 24 hours notice.
I'm not
before
sure.
taking that
Point of
suspension.
order. Point of order.
Um,
Point of order. By his own signature, he has settled this matter. It should not be
You're
bringing
not
it back up.
recognized, you're not gonna be recognized. And
By his
the
signature,
superintendent
he has
has
settled
the
that
floor,
matter, and he should not
is
be
allowed
bringing
to
it back
finish his
up.
statements.
Did you hear me? Check with the attorney. If you've settled the matter, you should not be bringing it back up.
Okay, we don't really understand what you are saying.
Because you didn't hear what he said.
No, we hear you.
No, you
We
didn't hear what
you.
he said.
I motion for the adoption of the governing board policy BEDBA, agenda preparation and dissemination. Can I have a second? Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Najera?
No.
Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Abstain.
Mr. Chapman? And Ms. Slattery?
Yes. And now we will move to the discussion consideration to adopt resolution in support of the LGBTQIA plus community. Superintendent Guys.
Yes, Madam President, bringing forward this resolution for the board's consideration and adoption.
I hereby move adopting the resolution in support of the LGBTQIA plus community. Can I have a second? Roll call.
Dr. Luna Najera?
Yes.
Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes. And now to the executive session. I call for the executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431-03A1, Superintendent Evaluation and Performance Pay for Superintendent Jeremy Guys, discussion or consideration of employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, demotion, dismissal, salaries, disciplinary, or resignation of a public officer, appointee, or employee of any public body, except that with the exception of salary discussion, an officer, appointee, or employee may demand that the discussion or consideration occur at a public meeting. The public body shall provide the officer, appointee, or employee with written notice of the executive session as is appropriate but not less than 24 hours for officer, appointee, or employee to determine whether the discussion or consideration should occur at a public meeting. I motion. Can I have a second? Roll call?
Dr. Luna Najera?
Yes.
Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Slattery?
Yes. And we will be back shortly.
new weapon on the market.
Yeah, it's so powerful, it can take out more than one person at the same time, and you never have to reload. It can give us security.
I heard it was so small that it can fit in your pocket. No way my parents would find out about this.
I heard it could strike at the touch of a button.
Report, don't repost.
Stop social media threats now.
It's never a joke.
benefits of unified sports are social participation and the exposure to new activities, things that they might not have had otherwise had opportunities to participate in.
When we build our equipment and our kids who can't typically participate are able to do something independently, the joy that they get from doing that activity for the first time is incredible.
I didn't really like playing in front of people in the beginning because I thought I wasn't good at it. And then once I got used to playing in front of people, I got a little bit out of my shell. And now I'm comfortable playing with other people.
I learned that I need to be confident.
Oh, you want to be more confident?
Yeah.
You learn to be more confident?
Special Olympics has had such an impact on the Arizona community as a whole because we are really focused on community for all. It doesn't matter what kind of situation you're in, what is your disability, we are really here for everybody, making life happen for everybody, making fun happen for everybody, because sports are fun.
We've been playing like different kind of sports like volleyball, and we played this one game. It's called that. We wear these like uniforms and stuff like that. Like we ever had the ball, you stop, and we drove it to our teammate. Now we just actually legit play badminton day. Been training super hard that day.
Funnest, most happiest people I've ever seen in my life. It's just every day is just they have that positivity that can spread everywhere, like it's contagious.
Unified sports benefits students with and without disabilities in just so many ways. You see them come into the class at the beginning of the year and they're very shy, not very aware of how to act or behave. And then you just see these relationships blossom and then grow. And they truly do become like a team and they're super close, super tight. And our students really do show really great examples of this throughout competitions, is really supporting those that do have disabilities and just having those friendships and building that support and having that support for one another.
I really enjoy dancing because I learned that when the first time I danced, I was shy, but then I realized that dancing can be not just about dancing, it can be about making memorable memories.
During these past few months of the year when we started, I feel that the most memorable moment is when we all started playing, not knowing what we were doing, but we still figured it out in front of everyone.
We love everything unified, bringing people together, athletes, partners,
giving them that normal experience of a team. And as a district, we came together and said, let's plan these events, district events.
At first, I was coming into it not knowing what to expect, and I feel like that's most cases for like things that you haven't tried before. But I definitely feel that I've grown so much with it. I've learned a lot, and it's something that I want to do more with. Like, I want to be a part of my future.
I think that you can look at the footage of students and see the smiles on their faces and know that what Unified Sports is offering those students in general is a great deal of independence, success, and joy. I think you can look at any single player and be like, this program is making a difference.
I think the partners too, like
for sure,
they get really excited to learn about our switch stuff and all the equipment we use, and then encouraging their athlete to participate. So I think it's a growing and learning opportunity for them that they really enjoy.
Join it because it's something where you're going to not only learn how to play a sport, but you're going to learn social skills with different people, knowing that when we go out into the real world, it's not just going to be us, it's going to be other people. And they're no different than us, but it's just showing that we're going to have that type of connection with special education than just gen ed kids.
I don't know, I just think Unified is one of the greatest programs that high schools can offer, and I hope that we are able to have more and more Unified classes that not just cater to Unified Sports, but then cater to all different opportunities and interests. So hopefully our program just continues to grow.
Why settle for a school that only offers you one thing when you can have a school that offers you everything? Does your school have a cafeteria like this? Or a performing arts center like this? Or a football field like this? Or an innovation center like this? Forward march. Or a path to the military like this? Or a career and technical education program like this? Or will their digital media program take you here? Or here? Or here? Or a media center like this? You can find all this and more at the Tolleson Union High School District. Enroll now.
Ashley Pollock, and I am a math teacher at Tolleson Union High School. I'm here to talk about an important opportunity coming up, the ACT exam on October 22nd. The ACT is the key exam to determining how prepared you are for college, but also opens doors to scholarships and any other financial options. The ACT will also help you jumpstart any current plans you may have for the future, whether that's college, starting a career, or any other potential options. The ACT will also help you better prepare for your final attempt happening in March this year. But it's not just about you. Your performance also benefits our school and our entire district. When you perform well on the ACT, it shows how committed we are to academic excellence. It also leads to more opportunities and resources to all of us. So I encourage you to try your best, aim for proficiency, and show what you are capable of. Remember, if you are in need of any help, talk to a teacher or a counselor for tutoring or practice test opportunities. We all support you, and we want you to try your best on October 22nd.
Sierra Linda is on the rise. Whether our students dream of going to college, joining the military, or finding the perfect career after graduation, we will be there every step of the way.
Go Sierra Linda!
We believe the high school experience should be filled with unforgettable moments.
My plans for after graduation would have to be attending Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, pursuing a bachelor's degree in psychology.
My school is my community.
My favorite thing about Sierra Linda has to be all the opportunities on campus, including the electives you can choose, the clubs, and the sports on campus.
Sierra Linda offers career and technical education options, performing and visual arts electives, 17 different sports, and more than 30 student clubs. We believe in your path, your future, your school. Join us. Let's rise together.
In Phoenix, we are the #1 public high school.
University High School has consistently been an A school and recognized as a top public school in the state as well as the nation.
Just a testament to the hard work that our kids put in. You know, no matter what the variables are, the continuity and the continued sense of excellence is really what makes this special.
Every year is special, and every year I say I'm not going to get attached to these freshmen, so someday I can retire, and that never happens.
Our students are, of course, motivated by academic achievement, but that's not the totality of who our students are. Offering them opportunities for volunteer work, clubs that give them opportunities to give back to their community. That's a big part of it too.
We are defying the odds and making a huge difference in our kids' lives. And this makes a difference in college knowing and going, as well as the future careers and even the networks that they are establishing and evolving in their future as they grow.
It changed my life coming here, from where I was as a teacher to where I am now, and to be able to give back to students and help them do whatever they want to do, that's really special. I love this place, and I'm so happy that I'm here, and I'm so happy that I get to share this with my colleagues.
I love what we do here. I love watching the students flourish and go and get to do great things. You know, they come back for Alumni Day and they talk about how great their experience was here and how it prepared them for college.
We are enrolling now, so the students that we are looking for are highly motivated, highly talented students who want to make a change in the world. They're invested, there will be homework every night, but you will also be around this community of people who support you and challenge you, and you will grow. So enrollment is open at University High School, and we are seeking for highly motivated students who want to make a change.
Located in Avondale, Westview High School has a long history of academic excellence, athletic success, and community tradition. Our values of pride, performance, and perseverance ring true in all we do.
I love Westview because of the commitment that I see every day within the students and the teachers. We have exceptional programs here for the kids. We have these programs that can give the kids something to leave school with that might better their life.
Westview offers a great academic tradition with experienced teachers who really know how to reach our students.
My name is Clarice Miller, and I have been teaching English in the Tolleson Union High School District for 29 years.
My name is Paul Valkenburg. I've been here 31 years.
I became a teacher because I wanted to make a difference in the world. What has kept me here my entire career has been the relationships that I've made with my colleagues, the relationships I've made with my students. There's nothing like it.
We've got 4 dual certified math teachers that can teach at the community college. So we have very skilled teachers. Part of the reason that we've done so well isn't because our students are any different than anybody else, but our expectations are different.
Westview offers an abundance of career and technical education programs. Did you know that Westview is the only school in the district to offer welding? Come to Westview for leadership opportunities. Westview offers an excellent JROTC program for students looking for something beyond the traditional classroom. Westview students are star athletes, guided by caring and experienced coaches.
I have worked at Westview High School for 26 years. I've been coaching wrestling for all 26 years. Got multiple state champions. My claim to fame is I do everything the kids do. I'm 54 years old. If I say run 3 miles on the bleachers, I run 3 miles on the bleachers. If I say we're gonna do 100 push-ups, I do 100 push-ups. And when I can't do that, I probably won't coach anymore. It changes your relationship with the school and the kids.
And don't forget about our outstanding visual and performing arts programs, JAG class, and student government. There is no shortage of leaders at Westview.
I really enjoyed being involved at school. I have a lot of past experience with pushing me to just be my very best. Giving back to my school, my community, and organizations around me in any way I can just kind of push me to be my best and do my best here at Westview.
Senior year is a highlight for me because you get to look back and look at all your accomplishments. I'm excited to go to college. I really like school, so I feel like college would be a great experience for me.
I plan to graduate and then go to McNeese State University down in Louisiana, and I committed to play Division I soccer there. Something that really makes the school stand out to me was the teachers on campus, their education that they've come from, and everything that they bring to the students.
At Westview, we know how to get things done. Our students are determined to reach their goals. Westview has opportunities to earn college credits across multiple departments, including math, English, science, and more. Our reputation as a leader in education with caring teachers, a robust academic program, and extracurricular options for our students truly stands out. Your future is bright when you become a Knight. Join us today.
Being in a school validates from the outside what we already knew on the inside.
We knew that we had a really good shot at it this year, and so all year long we've been just crossing our fingers because we know the good work that we did last year.
We've been getting the ACT results for a long time, seeing the difference between kids when we first got them and how they are now.
Everyone on this campus sees the hard work that the students and staff, the entire staff, put in every single day. So we know we're doing great things here.
Knowing that West Point received an A or is an A school, it just brings a lot of joy to us here at the Office of Learning and Academic Success.
It's a testament to public education is doing its job. Our students are getting the education they need, the supports that they need, the extracurriculars that they need outside of academics.
What we do with our freshmen all the way through, that's what results in a strong graduation rate, or them showing strong academic achievement, or being involved in CTE and the performing arts and all the things that make them well-rounded students.
It's having that reputation of having kids who are going to amazing schools across the country, going for free.
This is the expectation now. You know, we're looking at it as we are an A school, so that's our floor, and really not be satisfied with where we're at, but continue to grow and be even better at it.
When you open a new high school and a big comprehensive high school, you are helping not only your students, but also your staff build that culture of support and making sure that everyone has everything they need to be successful with students.
This is a comprehensive high school within our district, and that's the first that we've seen get an A, which now sets the bar and lets all of our comprehensive high schools know you can all be an A.
Having these kids who have gone on to Ivy League schools, or getting major scholarships even at schools like ASU and U of A locally, those kind of things to point at and say, hey, this kid did this, you can do this.
I'm really proud of Mrs. Haskins, her team. I know it's not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of dedication. I'm just proud of West Point and for all that they've done for our students and for our families.
Oh, don't underestimate Principal Haskins. She already has her eyes on some other prizes.
This group of teachers, they work together, they believe in each other, they believe in these students, and they're just passionate about it.
And now to the action discussion item to approve Superintendent Jeremy's evaluation. Roll call. I second. Roll call.
Dr. Luna Nahara?
Yes.
Mr. Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Miguel Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
The consideration to approve Superintendent Jeremy's performance pay. Second. Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Nahara?
No.
Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes. Now, members, are there any requests for future agenda items? Let Superintendent know, and we'll have that on the next agenda. If there's no other...
I have a request, President Sun.
Yes, Member Luna.
Yeah, I'd like to request a presentation on how the AI investment of $1 million is working out for our district, how many weapons we've had on our campus this last school year, and how the weapon detector thing is supposed to support the safety of our students.
I'm sorry, I missed the first portion of it. What was your first request? Oh, the AI? Okay. All right, we will make that available in our next agenda. And without further ado, just quick housekeeping. For future meetings of the governing board, as we're still in the summer schedule, July 8th, 2025, our regular meetings will be at 3 p.m. And then moving into August, we'll be back to our regular timing, August 12th, August the 26th, regular Tuesday at 6 p.m. I hereby motion to adjourn. May I have a second? Roll call, please.
Dr. Luna Nahara?
Yes.
Mr. Del Palacio?
Yes.
Mr. Ortega Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Chapman?
Yes.
And Ms. Sun?
Yes, I hereby adjourn meeting at 4:35. Have a great evening.